started going to school at this school? You know that?
1870s. Wasn't it?
Yeah,
What was
1873,
Oh,
72, 73.
There's a whole lot of people went to school here before me.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are kind of the mid, really the mid-youngies.
Well, we was right at the tail end of the school because they shut it down.
I think the last group was David Coons and Mike Coons, and they were in elementary school, and it's in the 60s. There's a picture of them back there.
Bud and Jimmy were talking about the Navy. They were just having I should have had my camera out at that time.
It's,
Bobby, I can send you an electronic form of that picture of your dad and Bob.
Teacher, I have to go to
And I've got it on Facebook.
Judy Crawford, she looks exactly the same.
And we do have a little fire in the stove. It's warm to the touch, I think.
So you're telling us we need to sit on the stove?
You know, it just makes you melt when you're cold and you can just put your hand on something warm.
That's Bob Anderson, Berta.
He looks like, well, I don't know if he looks like our IT guy at work. This running joke, because anytime we see some guy with a beard and mustache, it looks like our IT guy at work, so we take pictures and send it in.
What do you have to say about these, Jimmy? I'm recording you.
Well, old Mr. Coyote got a good narrow-striped skunk.
That's one that Carson boys got.
Are those my old tracks?
No, Kevin Simpson loaned those to us. He lives up where Glenn Anderson lived, and those are his big hides. He does
Well, I had some look just like them, painted flat black and everything.
I remember them in the garage.
Yeah.
They might have gone in the auction or something.
There's the beaver. Ain't it funny how they always stretch out round?
It is.
Then they got a cased coon there. You either case them like that, or you take and open them up like this.
Oh. Now, what's the advantage of keeping them cased?
Well, in my day, they always opened them up, and they just tacked out pretty square, you know. Coon did, but they also started casing them like you would a muskrat or a fox.
That's a muskrat, I think you said over there, the little one.
Little one?
The muskrat.
Yeah.
And he sells them, so there's a market for them. He's got a pretty high stack of them in his garage.
Yeah, they pelts are up a little bit now.
And there's Bob Anderson's, all the things in blue. He was in the Navy, and there's probably some I didn't get. But
This Bob Anderson?
yeah, that's Bob.
That he got a beard like that?
Yeah, that's when he was in Antarctica. He was, he had his parka on. That's a parka, so it's not all beard.
Oh.
But the black spots on the map are where he went with Amoco oil, and the blue is in the Navy.
Yeah.
And you probably went to Korea, didn't you, Jimmy, and Japan and China and stuff, or did you kind of follow the same blue?
I went all over here.
Okay.
Everything over here.
The same as Dad.
Yeah. You know those two guys.
Bobby and Jimmy Coons.
Yeah.
Horseback on the farm.
Remember the names of the horses by chance?
No, I don't.
Is that the horse that bucked you off, Dad? Or actually, I think he put his head down and he flew off the front of him.
Yeah, he used to stomp.
Yeah.
He just moved. Well, all of a sudden, boom, his chin would bounce off the ground, you know, and I'd fly over it.
What was the story about the bridge?
Here's one of the pictures now.
Yes.
But there's another one that was taken on that swing. It's just a little different picture. But there's the Hanson girl.
Okay.
And Lois Knievel and Ed Warnicki and Dorothy Warnicki and Junior Herbig and Bob Swenson and Jim Coons.
Jim Coons looks like he's hungry.
Let's see, this Hanson girl, her first name is what?
Mine's clicking on something.
Joanne?
Joanne
Yeah,
Hanson. That's it.
Joanne.
And then your teacher, who was your teacher? Was
Mrs. Smith.
That was Don Smith's
Yeah.
mom?
Yeah. Well, that's nice to have those pictures in the old schoolhouse. Is he gonna leave them furs up here, is he?
Yeah.
Or is that just a part-time loan?
Yeah, part-time.
See, I recognize David, but that being Mike, I wouldn't have recognized him.
Yeah, he's pretty young. You would have known him earlier.
You know, David was real tall, to me anyway.
He was a big mountain.
Yeah, he was
guy.
probably 6'4", 6'5".
Here's Deanie's boots with the little, Jeannie and I were cleaning their attic out and we found those boots in the attic.
Cool.
Little pocket, they donated them to museums.
Yeah, that's neat, because they're in, not, I mean, they could be a lot worse shape, you know, they're pretty good shape.
Oh my goodness, there was enough dirt up there and it was, a lot of it was from the Depression. It was really dense. We put a bag from the shop vac into a bag and there was only, you know, it was about that deep and neither one of us could together hardly pick it up. It was so dense.
Joyce, did you see that picture of us on horseback?
That's Laverne's boots,
Come back
his
here a
brother's
second.
boots.
I want to know, is the ceiling like this?
They would,
It was probably put up, Joyce, yeah, was the ceiling like this,
You
Jimmy?
know, I don't remember.
it's a remember an animal, wild animal, a badger.
Probably didn't spend that
Didn't
much
have
time
badger
looking at
hat,
it.
and Jimmy remembers that. But they're,
You can stand by this.
Well, I know I've had as many as 5 of those muskrats.
now this,
And they're on the
in
closet shelf
schools,
on
the
this
area,
side, drying out
these
during
are the
school.
schools
I'd run my trap line on the way to school.
But Dean,
Bring 'em in their t-shirt raise
ended up
out.
working for IBM and he traveled all over Europe.
What do you think of them horsemen?
Solver when they had
I
problems
think that's
with the
pretty neat.
computer, IBM.
Who's this?
That's
Bob.
Bob.
He'd jump on it.
How come he
Crash
looks
ship
bigger
and
than you?
Get there.
Because he's closer to the camera.
His brother died in early days of the military. Did you know Laverne Hettenbach, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah.
There's Judy.
You know, he passed away. Well, I should have.
Laverne passed away?
Yeah, Laverne, he was on his way. He
You're
signed
talking
up.
about Dean Hettenbach?
His brother.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know his brother, I don't think.
There's Deanie there, and that's his older brother Laverne. They call him Bud. And here's Fred Worrell. Remember Fred?
Yeah.
He's in the middle, and that's his horse, Old Red, and these are all Old Reds, except that's his last ranch horse, and it's buried out there on the hill. Miles.
Got anything to
Is
say?
that the teacher there?
That's one teacher from Nebraska.
She looks like I'd leave.
Yes, she does. See, that's
does.
You know Jeannie and Dean, and Dean's wife Jeannie, remember her
Yeah.
friends? That's her mother, and she taught in Nebraska. So we
Look at that hat. Ain't that something?
Just tell him about that horse.
Okay, that was his last ranch horse, his Old Red, and he got to where he was so old, you know, and he died. He was quite old, and so Fred had Keith Lee go out and dig a hole. Well, Steve Bly had a horse the same age, and they all worked together. They worked at pasture together. And that horse died, so they buried him together in a hole, and now it's just a big mound of dirt about as tall as that stove. It's out in the past, and nobody knows what it is until Fred said. You can see it from the road just a mile west. But this he gave the saddle to an old lean man in Dwight, and they agreed to let us have it on display. And Fred was in here today. It's
Red
Top.
Top, yeah.
And Sarah James brought that in.
Okay.
Red Top's another school. What direction do they work?
South and west.
Oh, southwest?
Yeah, out there by Bly's.
Okay.
Ross.
Well, that's right off the highway then, right? You can
Well,
see it?
You go 2 miles, you know where Parkerville Road turns that way, that bridge, that interesting
Yeah.
bridge out there south of town? You go the other way about 2.5 miles, I think it is. And
Yeah.
it was on a little knoll, and Dad went to school here for a short time.
Okay, so that's not the school that used to be, that is out off Highway 10 right there,
That's,
right?
that's Garner School, and there's quite a few people that went to Garner School that you probably would have an idea who they were.
Hulbert Coons, Jimmy, Grandpa Hulbert was a board member at Red Top at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the
Way back.
early
In
1900s.
the last classes, there's Sarah Jane White right there, and her sister Alice. Goodness, they had put in Carolyn. There's a McCreath, and a Richardson, and
There's Terry Jones right
Oh my
there.
gosh.
Really?
Yeah.
Remember Albert Bobby, Albert Bly?
I remember that name, but I can't put a face to it.
That's his niece, right? It's his niece.
You know, when Albert found out I had cancer, he was awful good. He gave me several talks.
In the tape.
Brought me soybeans and a jar of soybeans and something else to eat. Said, this is good.
He was in
Help
Blue
you.
Springs. Yeah, I remember.
Well, that was a cousin, wasn't it?
That was Keith.
Keith, yeah, Keith Bly.
Yeah, Keith
Is he
Bly.
still, have you guys heard anything from him?
He died.
He passed away.
Yeah, he passed away.
He had a nice,
Checklist of
he had a nice memorial down there.
He married a Czech lady. He got a mail order bride.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about that, and she was pretty nice, it would sound like.
So, Jimmy, do you have any memories?
Look at that load of hay.
Do you have any memories that you want to share about, in particular? About
About
Baxter
what?
School?
Baxter School. It's just all part of a good life.
Oh, what a neat tin can.
Good people that I went to school with, good friends,
That's cool.
and still are to this day. Some of them are gone.
That thing is probably worth a lot.
How about that catfish? Was it catfish that you caught on your way home or what? And put it in the stock tank till Saturday?
Yeah, but we caught them on down further towards Mulberry Creek and Clark's Creek. That's where Grandma taught me we set up bank lines. Then we'd run them, we'd bring the catfish in and throw them in the tank. They'd keep till Saturday, and then of course we'd clean them all in the afternoon and take them in to Mr. Don Baker, and boy, he was just happy as heck to get them fish.
You got pretty good money for it, too.
About 35 cents a pound.
That's pretty good.
And he was just happy to get it. He made money on them, selling them. I know he did. Fresh catfish.
Oh, he sold for 75 cents a pound.
I imagine he doubled his money. Don Baker, he was quite a guy.
You gotta do something.
As are most of the White City people. Might just say all of them, you know.
You know, I worked with his Don Baker's daughter
Oh, did you?
that was born soon after he died.
Yeah,
And she's really nice and
yeah.
everything, so. And her daughter, so his granddaughter, is a
Are
speech
you talking about
therapist.
Leland's daughter now? Leland Baker?
Leland Baker's daughter, yeah.
Because Don was Leland's dad.
That's right.
But
Jimmy, are you gonna put a donation in?
I doubt it.
Hey, Berta,
That was a donation just getting here.
did when Brett came out to your house to fix that washer?
You check and see how much is in there, and I'll take some out maybe.
They were there, I wasn't.
Okay.
So-
That's what I
Jimmy,
want.
you don't have to give anything. You don't have to give anything.
He'll just give it all.
Just about.
So did you ever get Roberta? Oh, yeah, I went out there and you just tell Roberta that she can call me anytime. Okay, and I was like, oh, is that right?
You need
Now
to go.
I remember.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
He said she wasn't even there, but yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you what it's from. It's from
I don't know what happened.
Well, it could be that.
To see who's left over.
Okay, well, pass that.
Is this, which one of those
Are
desks
them,
have
I
BC
wonder, are
written
them
on
some
them?
of the original desks
Yeah,
from this school?
Initials BC on this one.
just moved them, so,
I think it's Bob Coons.
Yeah. Oh,
Get in trouble for that?
I don't remember.
BC.
Well, there's no other BC, is there?
Not many. And see, it's perfectly in the middle. It's centered, in the middle, and the uniform letters across.
So he's probably the culprit there.
Look at the top
Now,
there.
if it was
You might
sloppy, that'd be
remember
way
something
off.
might kind of whiz back at you, Jimmy. Where?
it's just, that usually these benches are setting out, but she put the benches out so that people could sit
You
down.
know,
and watch.
Mrs. Schmidt, Don's
That is
Schmidt's
awfully
mother's a good teacher. And we would get through our books about half the way during the school year. And we just opened from the front and started right over again in a complete review of everything, So we really went through them books twice in a year.
I tell you, it's just been a joy getting to know White City people again and more of them, just.
Are you glad you come back?
Yeah, I'm glad I lived
From
here.
Oklahoma?
About 7 years at Oklahoma, it was in my blood.
Because Oklahoma had your heart for
It
a while.
did, it did. It took 7 years.
I
to get it out of my system.
Well,
But
how come you guys have the sandbox?
they had that in the Baxter School. They actually found it in a barn or something, and they remember this. At one point, one teacher allowed them to play in the sandbox when they got their other stuff done. They had little cars and stuff like that, you know, roads.
Yeah, I used to play in that all the time.
You did, Dad?
Did you?
Really?
I don't even remember that.
You were never good enough.
Maybe some of the younger kids, that was probably their thing.
So when it rained out and stuff, I guess that's when they got to play?
Yeah, I could play farmer or something, you know, make their little roads and...
But we had all ages of kids going to school there, and there wasn't very many of us, but they was varied, you know. Little Lois Knievel, if Bob and I would run off from her, sometimes she was a little bit late and we'd just go ahead and leave. And here she'd come behind us ways just crying, bless her heart, because we didn't wait on her.
Were you guys on horses or
Yeah,
walking?
we was riding horse.
And was she on a horse?
Yeah.
And she's on the horse that she cried?
She had a little Shetland, a little black Shetland.
Wait for me, I'm gonna cry for
What,
myself.
hey Jimmy, tell the story about the horse that kicked you. They put,
Well, Etta Warnicki would probably remember that for sure.
she
But
does.
she was out there showing off, and she's not an extremely tall gal now, but she was pretty lanky, tall and lanky when she was young. And she made a run at that pony, you know, and he didn't pay no attention. He was feeding on grass there. And she run at him and just jumped right up on the back of him, you know. And then she looked at me and she said, "Bet you can't do that." And I said, "Why, hell, I can do that, you know." I don't think I said that then, like that.
Yeah, you probably did.
So she backed off and was watching. And
I'm getting out of here. There's somebody in here on the side.
Oh, that's something that fell on the door. That's a wind booth and stuff over on the
so she
porch.
was watching me, and I made a run at that pony, and he kind of looked up, feeding. He looked up to see me coming, and his ears went back, you know. And I went up on him, and just as I went up on him, he bucked up just a little bit. So I didn't make it, and I just hung up on him there for a little bit. Then I went back down, and about the time my feet was 6 inches off the ground, boom, he hit me with both legs right in the middle and just sent me sliding, you know, in the grass. And everybody laughed, all the kids just laughed.
It wasn't funny.
I laughed, 'cause I didn't want to admit that I was hurt.
I just want to act out a cry.
But I just kind of moped around the rest of the day. I stayed
You
in.
weren't good for much.
The afternoon recess, I just stayed in.
Tell the teacher, Dad?
Huh?
Tell the teacher what happened?
Oh, I think she probably knew.
She saw it, she was laughing, probably.
But I don't remember telling her, but she probably found out. She knew.
Yeah, that little girl that followed you to school, they said, "You know what happened? He tried to jump on that horse."
Pretty good kid, but oh man, I tell you, Etta probably knew all the time that I wanted to do that.
Well, she probably, no, she may have just wondered. I don't think she would have set me up to get hurt.
You don't think so?
But,
Yeah, well,
That's nice.
Helen's little sweater thing.
You gotta sign the book.
what is this here?
That's people who like stuff.
Oh, let's see.
I changed the bulb too when it gets in work.
All right, so you signed the book?
Yeah, that's how memorialize this building before it came out here. Or
Is there a day that this is open? Is it like
Every
every-
second Saturday of the month.
Okay.
And if we can get enough people interested, you know, in a schedule, it'll be open more. And I think the 4-H kids, I haven't seen that for a long time.
This is
My hands are
two.
cold.
When else
This
was I always
is
thought that.
25 then.
Is that cold?
Yeah,
25th, is that right?
Uh-huh.
This isn't quite bad.
It's hard to
February 25th.
They have those shirts that have the extra long, they call them plumbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a longer with that.
What time is it now, everybody?
About 5 to 4, 5 to 5.
5 to 5? Jimmy, can you guys stay and eat a bowl of soup?
Well, we'll see here. Sis, I know it's about time. Let's see, a lot of good memories at Baxter.
He's writing a note.
Okay.
He spent the night with Brad on Sunday, and he doesn't do that.